It's crazy, but
Oh,
this is my most fun lecture. The rest of them are going to be very academic for residents. So without much delay, okay. So what I'm going to do is try to make this a little bit of fun as always. And I'm going to have a slide where I have travel tips. And then that is going to be followed by a couple of slides where those are my travel pictures. And I'm going to pick on you to tell me where those are. Okay. I didn't put what it was. So everybody has to unmute themselves and tell me where you think my family and I are traveling. And I'm going to pick on you also, Leisha. Okay. Now,
okay.
one important point is I personally am not comfortable about traveling on the plane yet. If you are vaccinated and you're going to wear a mask and you really have to go, like, oh, my grandson's graduating from college, or my daughter's getting married, and those kinds of things, like things that you cannot avoid travel, I think it's okay to make an exception. But you know I'm not, that's my personal thing, that I'm not, although I'm vaccinated, I just don't want to get out at this point. I have to make one trip this summer because my niece is graduating from architectural school, and none of our family, as you know, India is in the midst of a major COVID crisis. So none of our family can come, her parents can come. So we are renting an RV and we're putting everybody, that's my husband and my daughter and my dog and my cat. And we're going to just travel to Savannah, Georgia. And we're not even going to stay in the hotel. We're going to stay in an RV park in our secluded RV. That way we get to enjoy. We may go to a restaurant or two, but do a lot of takeout. So, okay. So with that, okay, so welcome everybody. We all love to travel, and it's been such a difficult, year to year and half, um, that, we've all been secluded. And if you have wanderlust like I do, then you're definitely feeling the pain. So, we all like to travel, but I think it's really important, to be very well planned if you want to have fun. And especially, if we are traveling with Parkinson's disease, or somebody with Parkinson's disease, then that can present its own set of challenges. And so, if you are like me and I like to plan every little thing, I like to think of it in real life. Like, I woke up, what do I do, and what do I need for every one of those things? So, I'm going to try to give you guys some good tips to ensure that when you feel comfortable to travel, when the all the everything opens up after the pandemic, which is probably going to be in 2022, then we ensure that we have safe and pleasant journeys. And I certainly don't have any predictions. I'm not Dr. Fauci, so I'm just making it up. All right. So who's going to tell me where I am here? What is this place? These are two different places, but they are in the same country. So this is one, and these are two. Okay, Jana, tell me. Unmute yourself. Okay, Pat and Barry, you can tell me this.
It is now. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. To me, it looks like it's Switzerland, but I don't think so.
It is Switzerland. You guessed it right.
Oh.
it's my Switzerland is my sister country. Like if I were to live anybody else, I have two sister countries. So like I like to live in India and I like to live in Switzerland. This is Lake Luzerne. All these pictures have been taken by me. This is the Matterhorn, which is like, Matterhorn is one of the
Yeah.
highest mountains, and that's my like literally 4-year-old child, and that's me many moons ago. This is like 2000. I don't know, 8. It's 2008. Okay. And so a few pictures of Switzerland. So this hotel here, if you ever go to Lake Luzerne, absolutely love Lake Montana. It's got like a really nice breakfast patio outside, and you can sit and look at the whole city. And again, the beauty of Switzerland is that you can have lakes and mountains, and it's so green, and you have cows everywhere. And so this is my favorite hotel. It's if anybody is really likes to travel, there is this thing called Small Luxury Hotels of the World. It's actually a website and it's a very nice book. And I try to pick those hotels because those are our fun. So moving along. Okay. So basically planning for travel. I like to make a very detailed checklist of all the things. Like I said, if I'm going to start travel like today at 1 o'clock, all the way till I come home, I literally write down all the things that I need, all the things I'm going to do. I think it is always better, especially if we're talking in the context of Parkinson's disease. But it's always good to travel with a companion rather than traveling alone. You have some help if something happens. Um, if you're going abroad, I think it's really important to check some travel insurance policies if required. And certainly, I go to India and I always debate what vaccines I should, give my child, especially if you're going abroad, and what kind of medications like against typhoid and against malaria and things like that. So really important to investigate where you're going, what's kind of endemic, not pandemic, but endemic in that particular area, and try to, plan for that and protect yourself. Okay, who's going to tell me where we are? Obviously, you're seeing some ships in the big ships in the background, and there is a beach. And so, okay, Lisha, what is it?
Cozumel, Cancun.
Yeah, it's Caribbean, absolutely, Cozumel. And then this is Grand Cayman Islands. So this is a trip that we took in. This is my kid was very small, like 9 years ago. She's almost 18 now, so she was 8. And she's smiling now, and as you see, becomes more of a teenager. The smiles start to kind of become frowns. So she's enjoying the travel. So this is Cozumel. And where is this? This is in our backyard.
Really?
So this is a really beautiful, best kept secret place. And if you have never been, then you should go. I found out because one of my teachers during neurology residency, her daughters used to go for summer camp. And so I said to my husband, so we drove all the way from Louisiana a couple of times to this specific bed and breakfast. I don't know whether they have it now. I'm going to check it out one of these days. But it's very close. It's about 4 hours away. There is a German town, which is about 1 hour away from this place. That's a hint. What's a German town?
Fredericksburg, Texas.
Correct. It's Fredericksburg. So this is basically Hunt, Texas. It's like outskirts of Austin. It's a beautiful place. This is like a bed and breakfast. There's a dock. And my husband was showing off. He was like the only person who could do that because he knew swimming. Like I couldn't do it. And this is my little kid. We dumped her in the water and she was not very happy. Okay. So coming back to, like some kind of a medic alert. I mean, it probably is not required for Parkinson's as much as it is maybe for like diabetes and things like that. So I mean, if you are not comfortable like wearing a medical alert bracelet, that's fine. But maybe you want to carry the information in your wallet, so that's hidden. And then, especially if you have had deep brain stimulation surgery, then you have to carry the certificate. It's a small card from the manufacturer. You got to take it with you because now, like with the newer devices, you don't really have to worry about that magnetic read switch, which used to turn the device off and on. I think that's with the new devices, that's not a problem. But you would rather be patted down than go through the scanner. So for that, you have to give them a legitimate reason. And so you give them that. And then never forget to carry your DBS patient programmer with you at all times. It's the Murphy's Law. The one time that you forget it, something goes wrong. And then, if you're abroad and that's like a big problem. So please carry a DBS programmer with you at all times, put it in your pocket, keep it in your purse that you carry with you wherever you go. And what I do is I scan all my documents, make use of technology. Like, if I had not been a movement disorder doctor, I think I would have been a computer scientist because I absolutely love, messing with technology. So what I do is I take all of my documents, which includes my passport, my license, whatever your Parkinson's ID, if you have one, the DBS ID, insurance policy, uh, drug scripts, your entire itinerary and the boarding passes, and even my credit cards. I scan everything. They're there in my wallet. So, I pull it off and then it's there. Okay, so where did we go? We went here in, what year did we go? 2009. So what is this place?
Is that in California?
No, this is not in the US. This is a very famous um, landmark that I'm showing you here.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, yeah. Mm.
And this is a place where a lot of glitterati, like all the Hollywood types, vacation here. There's a huge resort, there's beach and mountains. It's beautiful. Who's gonna tell me? This restaurant, it was ranked number 8 in the world. And I cannot believe that our friends that live there actually took us there. And I won't even tell you what the bill was. It was a ridiculous amount. It could have fed me for about a month, I think. What is it? Anybody? Okay, I'll tell you, it's in Europe.
Where?
France?
Europe, it's in Europe.
France?
Close. So it's on the I don't know which south, not which border, but it's on the border of France. It's basically in the Basque country. So this is a place called Bilbao and San Sebastian. This is the Guggenheim Museum, which is in Bilbao.
Ah,
This is my child with our friend's kid. This restaurant's called Arsac. If you ever go there, I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I think the chef was like world renowned. There is like a top 50 restaurants in the world. I think I have been to 3 so far. And I don't think I'm gonna make all 50, but I'll make whatever I make. But I've been to 3 so far. And so this is San Sebastian. It's beautiful. Same here. And then this is Guggenheim Museum, and this is the restaurant. And the kids took a picture with the chef. Okay, so where is this? This is again very famous landmark. This is in the U.S. It's mountainy. And I try to go here at least 1 week every summer because, Dallas heat is just enough to fry our brains.
Maybe Lake Tahoe?
Nope. This place is called Maroon Bells. This area is called Maroon Bells. Maybe that gives you a hint. So this is Colorado. So Colorado is one of my favorite places. I went there for my honeymoon. My husband and I were both poor. I was in training. He had just started his job, and he was very embarrassed to tell me that our budget for the honeymoon is going to be like, not very high. And so my uncle, who's was a urologist and was very wealthy, had a really big house on a river, on a golf course, and this was like in Gunnison, Colorado. And so we ended up going there. It's beautiful. There's a place called Crested Butte. Please go there if you can. It's like the Switzerland of America. And since then we have mostly gone there. So it's like Whale, Breckenridge, Keystone, Aspen, those places. So this is really Aspen, Maroon Bells, very famous. Okay. So coming back to contacts and cell phone, it's good to list your emergency contact information. What I like to do, although I don't have any, thankfully any major illness that I have to worry about at this point, but as I'm getting older, whichever town I'm going to, I basically Google and I try to find a reasonably good hospital that's in that location. So God forbid I fell and I fractured my ankle or my knee or something happened, then I don't have to be in a panic mode to say, where do I go now? I hope none of these things happen, but life's unpredictable. So what I do is I definitely do research about hospitals and clinics in that location, and I keep it again in my wallet. So God forbid something happens to me or my co-travelers, then I know exactly what to do, who to call, where to go. And remember, when you go to different countries, are, now I will say with the Apple has this huge charger pack that you can buy. I bought it. It was super expensive, and most of the chargers I don't use because I don't go to those remote countries. But I think like so for Europe there's a separate one. Of course, US is another one. India is a separate one. You have to remember that if you're going to carry your cell phones, you want to carry your iPads and your laptops, and you want to work from them and use them, then you need to have your local chargers. And now there is like a universal charger. It's like a one big thing. You can just buy that, and it basically works in practically almost every country in the world. So I buy one, I keep one, my husband keeps one, and then that way you don't have to worry about your devices. And then remember this very important thing: you have to, if you're traveling abroad, you got to buy an international calling plan, because if you use your phone to call, you're going to come home and there is going to be a $10,000 phone bill from AT&T, and you're not going to be happy. It happened to me one time. I think I made $7,000 in calling, but AT&T was very kind to me. I told them, listen, I'm a doctor. I went to a conference. I was a little kid. I made up a sob story, and they basically waived it. But my husband was not looking very favorably on paying $7,000 because I was stupid. So buy a calling plan. You usually, the texting is cheap, so you can text. Also, you can buy certain amount of data, so you can do emails. There's no reason to do emails on vacation, but I shouldn't be the person telling you because I'm checking email every 30 seconds. So I'm a terrible role model for these things. Okay, so this is my really wonderful family. My poor mom has unfortunately been sick for the last 3 weeks, but she's making a turnaround. And this is a beautiful picture. That's my mom and dad, and that's of course the three of us, and that's my sister and her husband and two kids, and so that's my beautiful family. And this is 2008, so it's a long time ago. And then this is basically, does anybody know what these are? If you go to Chinese festivals, this is in China, but if you go to Chinese festivals in Dallas, they have this particular festival. Does anybody know what it's called? What is it, Leisha?
It's the something of light. And I remember last time I went to the state fair, they had it. It was beautiful. Lanterns.
Correct. That's right.
Okay.
So these are lanterns. And, in India during Diwali, they have these huge, and my dad actually, he's 88, almost 88 now, but my dad for the longest time since the time I was a kid actually made these. Like he was really good. But of course, you can't make so many because, they are beautiful, they're very creative, and they're very creative people in India. So this is all India. So this is a temple, which is right behind where my parents live. And, when I had exams and I was very nervous, I'd always go to the temple and tell God that, make sure I make good grades and my parents going to kill me. Because one thing I like to do is before every exam, I like to go see a movie. So, if my exam's on a Thursday, then Wednesday evening, I'm either watching a movie at home or I'm going to the theater. I've literally done it like all my life. And then it drove my dad like totally nuts because he said, there's always more that you could learn. And my principle was, I'm a person that studies ahead of time. The 2 days before the exams, I pack up my books. I don't want to study, which makes my friends very nervous. But, so I went and always saw movies. So but also I also went to visit God and told him to, make sure my dad doesn't beat the crap out of me for watching movies. And this is in a mall in India. And this is a very famous landmark. It's called the Queen's Necklace. It's basically a driveway. I went to medical school not far from here. And this is really in proper Bombay. And it's very beautiful. When you see it at night, you can just literally come and drive, and it's all, like a necklace. And it's called Queen's Necklace because of Queen, Victoria, and then Elizabeth, because the British ruled India. And these are all the kids in one of my friend's car. And then we're dressed up for a wedding, and that's the Queen's Necklace again. So that's India. Okay, coming back to packing for the trip. So you got to start packing early and be prepared a day before. Like I cannot pack again, like I can't study. I cannot do anything last minute. So I start packing like 2 weeks before. I get all our bags out and be prepared and make a list and keep putting things. And of course, always choose comfort over fashion. Although some of my friends, they will go to the beach and they will be wearing high heels and really fashionable clothes. And I'm just not one of those people. But pick comfortable clothing while traveling. You'll enjoy it more. Now, if you go on a cruise or if you go to we went to a very fancy concert in Vienna, and then of course, we had to dress up. And so definitely carry a couple of, fancy clothes. I don't try to carry more than like two, because, if you're staying in a decent hotel, they can do laundry for you. Of course, everything costs money, but, it's not like you got to pack like, 8 outfits for 8 evenings or anything like that. But do carry some fancy clothes. And most importantly, you got to pick some sensible shoes. If you're going to do a lot of walking, you got to pick sensible shoes. You got to pick the right fit. You don't want to be like, shoes coming off, falling. We're all high risk community for falls here. And so we want to be like really, really careful. And, most of the times it's good to have shoes without laces, because sometimes the laces come loose and people trip over them and fall. So make sure that, and of course, if you're not going to have time for like doing laundry, I always repeat jeans. I try not to repeat t-shirts, and I try not to repeat, of course, and underwear, but so you got to pack what you need. Okay, so this everybody should be able to tell me. Okay, who am I gonna pick on? Let me see. Rich, tell me where we are. Unmute yourself.
Where is he?
Rich, unmute yourself. You try to find the unmute button. Should I pick on somebody else?
We know.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, Paris.
Paris.
Hey,
Correct.
Rich, hey.
So, of course, this is Eiffel Tower, as you know. What is this? Does anybody know what this is? It's very famous.
Where?
This one, with my husband and child with the pond.
Oh, yes.
What's a famous painter? That's
Oh, the Mona Lisa are you talking about?
This is Mona Lisa. So this is Michelangelo, but this is Giverny, the Garden of Giverny. That's Monet, and
Monet.
there's Monet's house there. And this is like water lilies. Like Monet is very well known. I'm really into like art and let's say all things travel. So this is the water lilies pond. And
Oh,
that's one of Monet's very famous paintings. Of course, this is Arc de Triomphe, and you kind of like walk on Champs-Élysées all the way, and all the nice shops, and and when they have whatever the Charles de Gaulle Day, they have like nice parades that go through that. So it's just beautiful. And of course, Mona Lisa. And then this is because we are in Paris, my kid was trying to be very fashionable and wearing those glasses and showing off. She was 4 years of age at that time. Okay, what's this?
oh,
San Francisco.
Yes, so this is of course Golden Gate Bridge. This is actually San Diego. So this is a very nice. It's called Cafe Coyote. If you ever go to San Diego, it's the best place to go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They make like everything fresh in front of you. It's just really awesome. This place is beautiful. If you want to go, like you and a spouse or a significant other, it's a place called Elk. It's about 2 hours drive from San Francisco. It's a beautiful. There is a bed and breakfast. It's called Elk Cove Inn, and of course, our kid was here with us. But it's a cove, like so you have a bed and breakfast, and it's your own private cove. You climb down, and there's a beach, and it's a beautiful cove. And this is, of course, San Francisco as well. So San Francisco is definitely one of my. This picture I actually took. And everybody asked me if I took this from a helicopter, but I actually didn't. It's on the other side of the hill. If you climb over, you get this beautiful picture of the bay. So again, I'm sure this is everybody's favorite, and it's the same again, and this is the Palace of Fine Arts, good place there. It's very beautiful. And I took this picture of my husband and kid because since my kid has been born, like they've always been like this, like I literally don't exist. Like the kid basically sticks on dad. And, so anyway, this is just beautiful place here in San Francisco. Everybody enjoys. What is this?
Niagara Falls.
Yes, absolutely. This is at night. And, this is like one of the only pictures of my kids actually sitting on me. But like you can say, she's happier with dad. And this is Niagara Falls. So interesting story about this particular picture. I took my neurology boards in 2006, and they are like the hardest thing one can ever take. It was like my last ever exam, and it was so stressful. And to basically give me an incentive, my husband said, this was in Pittsburgh. And so I literally hate Pittsburgh. I never go there because it reminds me of the board exam I took. Of course, thankfully I passed, but then we drove like a couple of hours, 4 or 5 hours from Pittsburgh, and we spent like a couple of days in Niagara Falls. So trying to like, take my bad memory away and put a good memory there. Okay, so coming back to travel, medications. It's good to carry your written scripts with you. These days we don't do any written scripts. We basically do only electronic scripts. But you should ask me or any of your doctors, write me a written script for all my medications and keep it with you. Just in case, like if you know, lose your medicines or something happens, like, if you have a script in your wallet, you can go to a pharmacy and I think they will honor it, like, and I make sure I write my DA number and all the contact information for me. Of course, if you're abroad, then if you're in the, excuse me, in the US, it's not a problem. But if you're abroad, then it's different time zones as well. So just carry it. When you're carrying medicine, it's good to carry at least an extra 1 week supply, if not more. Carry 2 weeks, if required, more but not less. And then put your medicines in your carry-on bag. Don't carry a heavy bag, just something that you can literally put on your back. That's not very heavy. And then I try to put extra medicines in just other bags. And then I also put medications in my husband's bag as well. So that way, like, I mean, thankfully we don't take a lot of medicines at this point, but whatever it is that we take, like thyroid and stuff, and then of course Advil and stuff, whoever has a headache and stuff. So this is really important. Like your meds are very, very important. And I think if it's an emergency, I think most pharmacies anywhere will will try to give you medication. But I think having a written script is, I think, really important. That's very legitimate. Okay, so where are we here? This is a beautiful place. If you guys, this is a resort that we went to. If you haven't been here, you just got to go here. This is like a mental health relaxation break. Like everybody talks about like wellness and mental health. Like, this is going to be my, like, thankfully my mental health doesn't suffer that much because, just keep busy with so many things. But I think if you want to just get away from everybody, don't want to see anybody, just get up in the morning, eat a nice breakfast, swim, go to the gym, hang out. Like this place, the most important activity that you do is eat. Like you eat like 8 meals. So you get up, you eat, you work out, then you then eat again, then you walk, and then you swim. And so essentially what you do is you eat like 8,000 calories, but you kind of try to burn about 4,000 because you can't burn 8,000 calories. It's impossible. Anybody? Take a guess. Okay, so I'll tell you, this is Dominican Republic. It's Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. My husband was trying to be funny. He was like trying to be like Hercules lifting the globe like over his head. He was trying to be like, I'm holding this tree up. And this is just a very beautiful beach, very clean and very nice. And it's a nice resort, but I wouldn't go right now. I would wait for the pandemic to be over. They don't want to be in crowded places. And this isn't fancy, but this is like super dear to my heart, this region in the United States. So where is this? Somebody might be able to tell what this is, this body of water. What's a big body of water in the South?
In the South, the Gulf?
Yeah, but what's the, like a river? What's a very famous river?
The
Mississippi.
Correct. So this is the Mississippi River. This is, of course, Gulf. So this area is all like Mississippi, Alabama, and I'm going to show you Louisiana. So my cousin got married at a resort here, which was surrounded by water everywhere except one area. And this is all fancily dressed up for the wedding. And this is, of course, when I lived in New Orleans, we used to go to Orange Beach, which is like Alabama and Florida. And this is in Natchez, which is in Mississippi. And then this is, of course, Louisiana. So for the 10th anniversary of Katrina, we decided to be like the trash patrol. And we went and volunteered for a whole day and picked up trash all in the city. It was just a lot of fun, but very sentimental. These are my two buddies. Look at me, how thin I was. This is like 1993. And these are my two buddies. She's from Bulgaria and she's American, and I'm still good friends with them. We all went to grad school and we all suffered the same torture. So, there's like shared plight and misery. This is Ottoman Park. It's a beautiful park in New Orleans. This is one of my favorite places in the world. This is on the banks of Mississippi. It's a very secluded part. You know you wouldn't be able to get here until like somebody like myself always when they took you. It's a very small part in the urban park. We played football here. We played frisbee here. We sunbathing and actually studied here a lot. And so when I wanted to just be by myself and I miss my family and just wanted to think about them, I'd come here. And of course, same spot. I took my daughter and taken them many times. And then this is a swamp tour. If you haven't done a swamp tour, you should just tour. It's so beautiful, so relaxing, like just fantastic. Do you know what this is?
Crawfish?
Crawfish. Yes, crawfish boils are very well known. There is literally a very nice fish market that was about 10 or 15 minutes away from where we lived when we were first married. And every Saturday we would go and pick up like really fresh fish. It's just awesome. Okay, and then what is this?
Hmm.
I'll just tell you because one of our really dear patients who passed away a couple of years ago was from Uruguay, and so he wanted to do a Parkinson's symposium in Uruguay. So myself, Dr. Kimani, Dr. Dewey, and our families, he actually was kind enough to pay for us. He paid for us to travel first class, and when we landed there, like we had like armed like people like police that came to like pick us up and escort, and then we had like a very nice Parkinson's symposium. But this is the resort that we lived. There's a river on one side and the water on the other side. And the food there was the best ever. I'm not eaten food like that. I need to find out what is the name of that resort and I'll definitely go there, one of these days. So this is in Montevideo in Uruguay.
Montevideo, okay.
So what mode of transportation to use? Obviously, if you're going to do airplane and do direct flights rather than trying to
Connectors.
so I book ahead of time so I can do a direct flight, book ahead of time, pick seats. I prefer aisle seats. Of course, you still have to move every time from the window guy wants to move, but when you want to move, you don't have to navigate through two other people to, especially with Parkinson's and with, if you're shuffling and you're having any problems, just aisle is good. Now, I will say if you can afford business class, travel business class. If you can afford, it's really expensive, but if it's 6 hours, like more than 6 hours, it's just hard for us to to travel because I got to come back to work next day. But anyway, use the aisle, show up at the airport way ahead of time. I show up at the airport, I check in, I sit and play video games, especially when I travel for work. It's good to do that TSA pre-check. So then you don't have to worry. You just kind of go through the line. It's just go online, do the pre-check. As comfortable as you can make your life, I think that it's better. And they allow like mobility devices, wheelchair and walker. So they allow those. So you can bring your walker with you. If you need to, please bring it. If you're going to have a wheelchair. Now, the airport also has like this wheelchair facility, but you have to kind of book it way ahead of time. So somebody will be at the gate with the wheelchair. They'll wheel you. They'll drop you off to the plane, and then they'll take off. Um, Also, if you have to have layovers, pick long layovers. I cannot tell you the two most disastrous airports in the world are Heathrow and Frankfurt. Like going from one terminal to the other terminal, with check-in, check-out, customs, everything can take you like 2 hours. Just walking and navigating the airport. It is such a nightmare. This is Heathrow. I always try to avoid going, but you have to pick like really long layovers between flights. I mean, if you're doing it or your travel agent, just I think sometimes I even tell people, why don't you just stay, then get off, make sure you have a visa. I think we don't require a visa to go to Europe yet, but I think the policy is going to change and we might require something. So certain countries, but stay a night, go the next day. Okay, so this should be easy. Where is this?
New York? No.
Yeah. Who was that?
Oh,
Janet?
yeah.
Good for you. It's in New
New
York.
York, New York.
Yeah, it's the Brooklyn Bridge. We walked the Brooklyn Bridge. So this is
Brooklyn
me
Bridge.
30 pounds ago. I just lost close to 30 pounds. So, that's my pandemic gift to myself is weight loss. And then this is my aunt, and we went to Rockefeller Center a couple of years ago during Christmas time. And as you can tell, again, my husband Rahul and Juhi they share like great deep love, and they're in their own thing. This is, of course, Central Park, very beautiful. take a carriage. It's fantastic. This is my aunt's house, and we really need to go back this summer if we can. And where is this? And so these two individuals you may come to know soon are Dr. Elkert, Mazen Elkert, that's me, and that's Dr. Rashid Al Nazar. They're now all DAPS board members, and they were my fellows, and they're now my colleagues, my early career faculty, and I mentored them. They're wonderful. And we were at a meeting in September 2019, and we were in this very, very beautiful place. Anybody know what it is?
Is that Italy? Like southern Italy?
Okay, so it's close. So you're close. It's very close to southern Italy. That's why the architecture looks very Italian. This town looks like almost very Italian, but it's actually not Italy. So tell me what it is. What's a country close to Italy? Like border?
Um,
Come on.
Now you're giving us a geography test. That's not fair.
Okay, this place, if you go to this place here, this is where you can do a lot of gambling. This is a huge
Oh,
gambling place.
Monaco? No.
Monte Carlo?
Correct. This
Okay.
is French Riviera, guys. This place is called Nice. It's beautiful. This is Nice. This, like these areas and where we are is, it's basically Monte Carlo, Monaco. And then I spent a whole week in September 2019 in Nice, went for a meeting, of course, went to the meeting, and then the evenings, like we were up until like 3, 4 a.m. just having a blast. I'm telling you, movement is that if you ever, any of your kids or grandkids want to become physicians, tell them movement disorders is where it is at. The meetings are all over the world. They're beautiful places. We were supposed to go to Copenhagen this year in Denmark, but that's not happening. It got canceled. But next year, hopefully, if all goes well, we'll go to Seoul. So, and I've been to really beautiful, beautiful places for travel. This you might not, there's no giveaway here, but this is my kid was very small, like, it's like barely a couple months old. And this is Smoky Mountains. So this is one of my most favorite vacation destinations, especially when I used to live in Louisiana. My husband and I have done lots of trips, even when we were by ourselves and single. Even before we got married, when we got engaged, he took me on a trip all through Smoky Mountains and Blue Ridge Parkway. It's a beautiful drive. And, this is, of course, my dog Cookie. I just put her in there because I got to put her somewhere. And this is like, us many, many years ago. So it's a great place. Okay, this should be easy. And I'm actually going here in July for a meeting, and I'm trying to convince my child to come. Anybody that has grandkids would know what this is. And it actually says what it is right on top of here. Who's going to tell me? Who's here? Okay, I'm going to try to pick on somebody. Catherine, do you know what place this is? Okay,
I think Rich knows.
Yeah,
okay, tell me.
somewhere in Scotland.
Well, you're right. The premise has been created that it's like Scotland, England, but this is actually Orlando. It's Harry Potter world.
Oh, really?
This is the Hogwarts Express. If you're a Harry Potter person like my daughter is, she knows every character, every dialogue. When we sit and watch Harry Potter movies, she basically recites the dialogue. So what I do is I sometimes mute the TV, and she just keeps talking, and so I hear the dialogues from her. She knows every single dialogue. So this is Hogwarts Express, and then this is a beach, Melbourne, very close to Orlando, and this is Hogwarts, where she wants to go to school. Okay, so continuum mode of transportation, you might, you basically, if your companion can drive, that's best. Watch out for side effects of medication, sleepiness. Trains are pretty safe. Cruises, just remember that you cannot get off the time period, so you really need to have your meds, on with you, and then just make sure that you are moving and not just sitting around. You want to wear compression stockings. You want to move your legs, and you don't want to develop deep vein thrombosis. Okay.
Oh,
So I went here in 2018 for the Movement Disorder Congress. Was in this very beautiful city of
Well, those are Chinese figures in the statuary.
Correct.
And
You know what this city is? It's a big, big industrial business city in China.
ooh,
It's a very famous harbor.
Hong Kong?
Yeah, it's Hong Kong. So you kind of take the train and climb all the way to the top. So that's Hong Kong. And then, this is really actually when after we literally climbed like a couple of those areas of the Great Wall of China. This place is a very beautiful place called Xi'an. It's this is the terracotta warriors, the King's Army, and then this is same thing. This is a museum for the terracotta warriors. This is Great Wall of China. This is literally, I have this one stupid thing that I always do, but it's my thing. Like I carry these Indian spice chai packets, and all you have to do is put hot water in them. And so every place I go, I was at the Matterhorn in 2009, and I had these packets. So I was drinking like literally Indian masala chai on the Matterhorn, and here I am drinking Indian masala chai on the Great Wall of China. Like my kid just gets a kick out of it. That mom's crazy, but this is Imperial Palace. It's one of the king's palaces. This is a picture that I would have saved not to share, but my daughter made me do it. She blackmails me with this picture. She tells me if I don't do, I wore a hat. I was very sleepy. I was very tired of climbing the Great Wall of China. And she basically shows it and says, Mom, if you don't get me this, I'm going to put this picture on the internet. So, and this is Xi'an again. And this is while I'm drinking chai, she's drinking Coca-Cola. And this is one of the, again, Chinese palaces. So very, very beautiful. And this is really all three of us on the Great Wall of China. And you would think that it's a straight thing to climb. It's actually not. It's like, it's ups and downs and ups and downs. I literally worked out for 3 months, 5-6 days a week so that I could climb this thing. I'm not sure, like if you have early Parkinson's disease, please go. If you have advanced Parkinson's disease, just, take the gondola, sit there, drink tea like I did or Coca-Cola, but try not to climb. And the palaces are just really wonderful. I had a picture of Tiananmen Square, but I don't know where it went. Okay, so almost coming to the end so that I can have questions and maybe people can show me stuff. So navigating each day, make sure you have your medications, but also carry some snacks, carry water, plan your day. Remember that I need you to drink 8 ounces of water with every dose of your Parkinson's meds. So carry a lot of water. When you're traveling, like water is just like super expensive. It is, pardon me, someone's trying to call me. I'm gonna cut this off. Okay. So check the local weather. Want to make sure that, buy some raincoats if umbrellas if it's raining or if it's cold or hot. And then pace yourself on how much you want to get done. I always want to do like, I want to see this, and this. And then as we've gotten, every decade that we have aged, like my husband just shaves off more things. He's like, we're just going to do 2 things today. And I can't tell you how enjoyable it is. He's like, you know what, we'll come back, or maybe we won't, we'll go somewhere else. But, don't try to make it like a fast vacation. Just do 1 or 2 things. Don't forget, hydrate regularly. If you're tired, take a break, take short breaks. Don't want to get tired and fall. And just, plan your day, see what you can do. And that's really important. Like the most important thing is your safety is more important than anything else. So, okay. Does anybody recognize this place? I'll tell you that this was in a very famous movie with some very famous songs.
It has to be
This place-
Vienna,
Huh?
outside of Vienna.
Correct? Who said that?
It was Rich.
Good for you, Rich. So yeah, this is, so this is Salzburg. All of this is Salzburg. And it is of course, Austria, and this is the place where, this is Sound of Music, the house where the Von Thorp family, I think, stayed. And this is Innsbruck. And this is the, does anybody remember that song? With the beautiful dance?
the Blue Danube? No.
No, this is like Sound of Music.
What? I don't know. No, was it I am 16 going on 17?
Correct. Good for you. You must be a romantic. It's the most beautiful song. I'm 16 going on 17. And when I watched Sound of Music, I was kind of in that age group. So it was just really nice to imagine that one day you would have some guy that would dance with you in there. And my husband just refused to dance in there, but they don't let you go in. They don't let you go in there. But again, you can tell my peas in the pod are always together. This was beautiful. We tried to climb up a little bit, but it got a little slippery. So anyway, this is where the Sound of Music song was basically pictured. And this is, of course, very close. So what place is this? Usually, if you go to Austria, you end up going to this place.
Is that the Glockenspiel in Munich?
No, not Munich.
Oh, but is it the Glockenspiel? No.
No. So
Hmm.
this is the Charles River Bridge. And then this is actually Salzburg. And then this is a very famous, landmark in Old Town. This is in Czech Republic, Prague.
Oh.
So, if you go to Austria, most people do Austria and Czech Republic together. And so this is Prague. And what is this? We should know this.
Guinness. Dublin.
Huh?
Dublin.
Dublin, correct. So this is Trinity University. Dr. O'Sullivan actually and his wife both went to med school over here. This is a Guinness, it's a Guinness museum, but it's also a Guinness factory. And on top of that is a very beautiful view, and they give you free Guinness of all kinds. This is one of the, so this is again Movement Disorder Congress in Ireland, in Dublin. And so we went there. This is Temple Bar is a very famous area. This is a bridge there. And this is a coastal town that Dr. O'Sullivan told me to go. It's about an hour away. It's called Hoth. It's beautiful. If you go to Dublin, take 2 days, just stay in Hoth. It rains all the time. It's very romantic. It's absolutely beautiful. You wear your raincoat and you just kind of walk around, and there's water and there's nothing, there's pubs. And, so my goal is really to take my husband there and spend a couple of days just in Hoth. It's just beautiful. All right. So stay on schedule with your medications, set regular alarms and reminders for timings. You're in a different country. If you're in a different country, different time zone, carry water with you. Make sure that, if you're sitting around for a long period of time, especially in buses and trains and planes, you can get constipated. So make sure that you manage that. Watch for any side effects of medication. Just take your medication box or something and, set the alarm and take your medicines. So where is this? Home stretch. This isn't my house.
Oh,
This
that's
is our house.
Chicago.
Yes, it's Chicago. It's the Buckingham Fountain, and it's this
Yes.
millennial, park. So one of my favorite cities. Used to go to Chicago every year. Close friend lived there, but Rush University offered me a job many years ago, and I said, I love Rush, love Chicago, hate cold, love Dallas, not coming. And in this, this place was just supposed to go with the Austria, Czech Republic. This is Budapest. So the two cities, Buda and Pest. And this is, so we did in 2016, we went Berlin, Movement Disorder Congress. So we basically went to Zurich, then we went to Lucerne. I always have to go to Switzerland when I go to Europe. And then we basically went to Prague, Czech Republic, and went to Hungary, and then Berlin. And it was just two weeks of a beautiful, beautiful trip. And then this is where I went. So I'm winding down. This is basically me riding the motorcycle in this Asian city. And I went here for a meeting in December of 2019, just before the pandemic. What's this place? And it's the same thing, same city.
Oh, that's, yeah. Not a
This is
ramp.
called the Sleeping Buddha.
Right.
The cuisine here,
Siam.
huh?
Well, it used to be called Siam, wasn't it?
Correct. It's Siam, it's Bangkok. Yes,
Bangkok.
Bangkok is Thailand. Wonderful. This is beautiful temples and stuff, you just can't really imagine. So this is my last slide. And, pace yourself, rest up, have fun. The goal is not to chomp all the food in one day. The goal is basically to, create an experience, something that you can remember. I will tell you that I consider myself to be very blessed that because of the nature of the work I do, but also, being blessed with two people in the family working and being able to travel has been one of the many blessings I'm grateful for. And so, plan your travels well. Um, Definitely, rest a lot. If you need a rest day, especially if you're retired or semi-retired, then you can take a lot of time. Keep your doctor letter handy. That's, I usually write people a letter saying that this is my patient, I take care of them for Parkinson's disease, and here are the meds. And you never really need it. But sometimes what happens is, I've heard these stories, somebody being like, shuffling or stumbling and caught them and thought they were drunk. And I'm sure that you've heard this before. And so it's important to basically have a letter in hand, that basically it's just protection. Safety, 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 and safety. Be careful. One of the worst things that I do to myself is I try to get on these like strategic places to take very good pictures, and I'm like end up becoming a very high fall risk. So be very careful. Have somebody like guard you if you're climbing on things, um, and then just while taking pictures, look around, and just be spontaneous. Go with friends, go with family, have fun, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
That
And I'm
was
happy to take questions. I think we have 10 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. Does anybody want to show their pictures? I'll stop sharing. And if anybody wants to share pictures, feel free. And I had ton more, but um, I had to put it in like my 50-minute thing. So
that was wonderful. It was fun. I like how you made it into a game so that it was fun. So it did kind of make us think again. I should be a little bit better with my geography, as my son just finished an AP geography exam. So you'd think I'd be a little more in tune to that. But nevertheless, very fun. But I like how you incorporated using kind of gauging where you are day to day and regulating. If you're waking up and it's a hard day, or you're feeling a little bit tired, you might need to modify some of the plans. And it also made me think back on a couple of months ago when we did Cooking with Chitnis. You also talked about how give yourself permission to cheat a little bit and know when to cheat and how much to cheat. And I think that also applies, of course, to travel, because that's one of the main things that we do when we're traveling. So I appreciated that you honed in on that.
yeah, I mean, we, when I'm in clinic and then I'm rigid saying like, what time do you wake up and what time you take your pill and what time, like, how long it takes to kick in, right? And I mean, I got to be rigid in some things, but life is not about Parkinson's. Life is not about rheumatoid arthritis. Life is about, you only get one chance. And everybody gets something. People get bad cancer. My poor mom has cardiac disease in spite of taking such good care of herself. So I think it's really important to take life just only as seriously as it's required, and the rest of the time you got to be like grateful for the fact that maybe I don't have a brain tumor, right? Maybe I don't have Lou Gehrig's, right? I mean, if I'm diagnosed with Parkinson's, again, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not a devastating, life-changing diagnosis the time that you get it, but as most of you here, you learn to live with it. You find, partners along the way, and I'm just really impressed with the way all the people at Parkinson's Voice Project, the spouses support each other. Like I actually go and join the spouses group and hang out with them and chat with them. So life is all about just enjoying it, and so really important, like to do the right things, but take a deep breath, breathe, enjoy. What questions? I'll be happy to take any questions.
And feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. Everyone must be daydreaming that they're in one of your many exotic locations.
Oh, I know. I know. Like, I was trying to like one weekend when I was trying to like put together a story and say, well, what should I tell them? Like, so I basically like created like if I were to travel, like what would I do, right? And then of course I mean I look up resources, but I think it was just nice to put. I think you have everything you wanted to, now you can, and later I'll be more than happy to share my PowerPoint with you, and you can just basically I'll take out the pictures and I'll just share the slides. So, or yeah, I'll keep the pictures too, and you can decide you want to go to this place. and then make a PDF of it. So, somebody can basically just copy that whole PDF and put it in your wallet and then have it as a resource when you're traveling, right?
That would be great. I did record it, so I'll put it on our YouTube
Yeah.
channel. And then I also took screenshots of each of your slides. So I'll try to post those on our social medias just as some reminders. And of course, credit you with that, because you had just a lot of really good tips. And some of them are really, things that I think, oh, of course, but I might not think to do that unless I really kind of went through. I mean, I love the very first thing you said about scanning all of your documents. I mean, we're probably still going to want to hang on to those, but how nice to know that if for some reason you lost a piece of your luggage, you still had everything scanned onto your phone. Great idea.
Yeah, when we travel, what we do is we count how many bags we have. And so every time we locate from one place to the next, we basically count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 individuals and 4 bags. And so that way, you make sure you don't forget your individuals or your bags anywhere, right? And then, airline always messes up. I think one time my husband got into this argument with one of the ladies, and she literally did not send the bags. She sent the bags a day later. I know she did it intentionally, and it was terrible. And we landed in Zurich and bags didn't come, and I had to basically take the kid, and it was unfortunately the kid's bag, but the kid being a small size, it was easier. So I took her to a mall and shop there. But again, I mean, you are still going to a city, so you will find, if you miss something, you'll find something there. But I think that, it's just one time I forgot to take the camera, and then we were in Paris actually, and one time I forgot to take the camera, and so my husband was nice enough to, we went to electronic shop and bought a new camera. But that's like, it made me feel bad because we had a nice camera. We just I don't like to unnecessarily spend money. Okay, what I was going to suggest is funny. I told my friend Victor, who runs the SkyPass Foundation, I said once the pandemic is over, we should plan these little trips and maybe get 3, 4 couples, and then just and then I'll go with them, and we'll just go different places and travel, and I'll be there, so I'll be like the personal physician, and go have fun.
And you would be an incredibly fun tour guide.
I would be. I think I've been a lot of places. It's just yeah. So great, guys. I hope this was helpful and useful, and I hope it was fun.
Enjoyable. It was very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you,
Totally enjoyed
guys.
it.
Yeah, thanks for your patience, and I'll think of something else that will be fun.
Good. This was absolutely wonderful. So I'm excited to be able to share it with people just on YouTube since we have it recorded. So this was excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Chitnis.
Okay. Bye, guys. Be safe.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.